Good morning, America. North Korea's new threat, vowing to use absolute force. A plan to launch missiles near the U.S. territory of Guam could come within days. More than 160,000 Americans living there as the Trump administration recalibrates the president's warning of fire and fury.
Breaking news, Hurricane Franklin making landfall, the first of the season, taking aim at Mexico's Gulf Coast right now. The storm bringing dangerous flooding and all eyes on a developing system in the Atlantic that could head towards the East Coast.
Taylor Swift's mother takes to stand. Her emotional testimony directly addressing the radio DJ accused of sexually assaulting her daughter. Now all eyes are on the superstar as she prepares to testify.
And the ultimate moment, this cat gets loose, running across the field, stopping the game. A groundskeeper tried to get it under control. How it may have helped the Cardinals win the game.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. Tiny cat with a ferocious bite. It is great to have Paula Ferris here this morning. Welcome.
Thank you, George. I know no one has won the Powerball lottery, but I feel like I won the lottery sitting in between the two of you guys.
You know how to butter us
How
up.
about that, right? Big winner in St. Louis, rather.
Big winner in St. Louis, the cat, the rally cat. That's what everybody's talking about. It is one of the top trends on Twitter this morning. Look at the little kitty got loose on the in the field and had to send the groundskeeper out there. He goes to grab the cat. And it's going to leave a mark. Let's put it that way. It's going to leave a mark.
That cat grabbed back. A lot more on that coming up on this Thursday morning. But first, let's get right to those new developments on North Korea. We want you to take a live look at Guam, where it is nighttime right now.
Yeah, that is the U.S. territory in the Pacific, home to thousands of Americans that North Korea threatened to launch missiles toward last night. Of course, that was their response to the president's Trump's fire and fury warning. They're also calling it a load of nonsense. As Defense Secretary James Mattis warns North Korea against any actions that will lead to the, quote, destruction of North Korea's people. Our Chief Global Affairs anchor, Martha Redd, is tracking all the latest. She starts us off from Washington. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, George. This is truly a war of words between Donald Trump and North Korea's leader, but it could have very real consequences. This morning, as you said, a U.S. territory is facing a very specific threat from North Korea in response to Donald Trump's strong words.
A defiant rebuke by North Korea in a statement calling President Trump's recent comments a load of nonsense, saying the president is a guy bereft of reason and only absolute force can work on him. And this morning, a renewed specific threat to Guam. North Korea announcing it will launch 4 missiles at the waters near the island by mid-August. Overnight, the governor of Guam responding, encouraging calm.
There is concern and worry, but there's no panic.
Also overnight, South Korea warning of strong and resolute retaliation for any attack against them or the U.S. The new North Korean threat coming in response to that fiery warning by President Trump.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
In a statement, Defense Secretary James Mattis backing up the commander-in-chief, but stressing defense, saying that the U.S. has unquestionable commitment to defend ourselves from an attack, and that North Korea should cease any consideration of actions that would lead to the end of its regime and the destruction of its people. And in Pyongyang on Wednesday, a rallying call. Thousands of North Korean citizens packing the square in that nation's capital in a display of unity. The increasingly threatening rhetoric coming as U.S. intelligence analysts now believe scientists in North Korea can produce miniature nuclear warheads that can fit inside those ICBM missiles. Kim Jong-un launched 2 of them last month.
But for now, all eyes are focused on Guam because the threat was so specific, saying 4 missiles, giving an approximate date, and saying the waters, not the island itself. This may increase the likelihood they may actually do this, George.
Okay, Martha, let's talk about it more now with our military analyst, Steve Gaynor. And Steve, as Martha said, this is a very specific provocation right now, 4 or 5 missiles towards Guam in the next couple of weeks. And there's already been a warning against it from both South Korea and Japan.
Yeah, George, the specificity is interesting. Not only does it designate the particular kind of missile, it says it says the parts of Japan it's going to overfly and what the intent is. So I think here what we're looking at really is part of the continuing test program, because this missile that they're talking about has been very unreliable, and they've never launched it in salvos, in multiples. So it could be a convenient excuse to test the missile program further.
Right, they want to test it. It's supposed to go over international waters and the other areas you just mentioned, but it could get very close to actual U.S. territory. If it gets within the U.S. territorial waters, what do we do?
George, there's a THAAD missile system, which is a new defensive missile system. We've talked about it in South Korea before. The THAAD is intended to defend areas, and so it's a good missile to have there. The problem is the THAAD is still a developmental missile, and although it has a 100% success rate, it's never been tested against 4, and the North Koreans know that. But as you note, the real concern here is Guam is American territory, and if the North Koreans miscalculate, that's an act of war.
So take us inside the decision-making process, inside the government, as North Korea prepares for this. They'll be obviously watching every second of every day, but how will they make the decision whether or not the test requires a response?
The radars that will pick up the launch from North Korea will hand off that data as the missile travels towards Guam. And this THAAD missile system is very sophisticated, and it'll operate almost on automatic mode. And so it sees that missile coming in. The president, I'm sure, will authorize that if they do see a missile coming in, they're authorized to knock it down. So a lot of this will be automated and will be data that will be passed off through a series of radars out in the Western Pacific.
Tensions are getting high. Steve Gaynor, thanks very much. Paula?
Thank you, George. We want to turn now to new developments in the Russia investigation. We have now learned the FBI conducted a morning raid at the home of former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort using a search warrant. Our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, has the very latest details from Bedminster, New Jersey for us this morning. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hi, Paula. Good morning to you. You know, this stems, of course, from Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian election interference. You said it. About a dozen armed agents showed up at Paul Manafort's Virginia home. They took documents and other materials that happened early in the morning. It also happened late last month. This is just now coming to light. Now, the Trump team has really tried to distance themselves from Paul Manafort, but Paul Manafort, of course, ran his campaign toward the end, before the election there. He also oversaw the Republican National Convention, but really it is his past work in pro-Russian Ukrainian politics that has him under scrutiny right now. He ultimately had to register as a foreign agent after that work, where he earned millions of dollars, came to light. In the wake of this raid, Paul Manafort's spokesman released a statement. Take a look at this. I want to read it to you. He says, quote, Mr. Manafort has consistently cooperated with law enforcement and other serious inquiries and did so on this as well. But, you know, Paula, really the big question this morning, if Paul Manafort was cooperating to the level that the feds want him to be cooperating, would they have had to conduct this raid on his home?
Yeah, and that's what everybody wants to know. I want to go back to the spokesman's statement right there, Cecilia. You just mentioned, quote, other serious inquiries. You're referencing congressional investigators. So what else are they looking for from Manafort?
They are looking for information from Paul Manafort, but also Donald Trump Jr., the president's son. And of course, this goes back to that famous, now infamous Trump Tower meeting between those two others and the Russian lawyer. They're also looking for information about the Russian interference in general and the campaign. The Trump campaign has released 20,000 documents to the Senate Judiciary Committee recently, Paula.
Cecilia Vega with the president this morning in Bedminster. Cecilia, we see you more on World News Tonight. Thanks for your reporting. Let's send things over to George. George.
Okay, Paula, thanks for getting more on both these big issues now from our chief political analyst, Matthew Dowd, chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Matthew, let me give it to you and North Korea. We see the action-reaction cycle going on right now. The president's fire and fury comments spark a new reaction from North Korea, even though the president's team trying to modulate his rhetoric.
Well, it's very interesting that the president's team is basically saying don't pay attention to the president. So the calm and cooler heads aren't the president. The calm and cooler heads are people like General Mattis, General Kelly, General McMaster, Nikki Haley. They're almost as if they're the offensive line protecting the American people of the world from something that they see as a threat. I think the problem, this is Einstein said, is you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that created a problem. They need to step back and figure out what is it over the last 25 years they haven't been able to do in order to sort of build this in the Korean Peninsula.
Partly because there are just no good answers to that nuclear threat. I want to move on now to the Russian investigation. And let's talk about this raid on Paul Manafort's home. Quite significant in that a judge had to approve it.
Well, that's right. It also means that it's clear that the authorities do not believe that he's cooperating as he says that he is. Now, he may be offering up documents, he may be cooperating to some degree, but they clearly don't believe that he's cooperating enough because they went to a judge to say, we need to go to his house. We need to go in and potentially find documents.
Wake him up, knock on his bedroom door.
That's right. I mean, so the judge had to sign off on having probable cause of a crime where they could find evidence there. So that's a big deal. Now, does that mean that a crime was committed? No. Does that necessarily mean they're going to be able to link it to Donald Trump? No. But it is significant with regard to the investigation into Manafort and what they're saying publicly about his cooperation and what the authorities think about that.
Politico also reporting this morning the investigators looking at Paul Manafort's son-in-law, who he's in business with, as well. And it does seem like there's something of a strategy here, both with Paul Manafort and General Flynn. Put the pressure on, see if they'll flip.
Maybe, yeah, but also see if they've committed crimes. I mean, it's, everyone sort of is viewing Manafort and Flynn as potentially part of this ladder to go up higher. But I think that the authorities there are also looking into whether they committed crimes. I think that's important here. I think that's part of the investigation. It's not all just pieces in the puzzle to get to a higher level.
Matt, meantime, President back on Twitter this morning continuing his feud now with the Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, when you would think for a guy that's basically down to almost 30% approval rating in the country, he'd be looking for friends wherever he can find them. Mitch McConnell is the leader of the party, his party, in the United States Senate. And the only signature achievement the president has had in Congress was Neil Gorsuch getting on the Supreme Court. And that was because of Mitch McConnell. You would think the president would take some accountability, since he's the head of his party, for whatever happens on his legislation. But for some reason, he's trying to blame everybody else.
Okay, Matt Dowd, Dan Abrams, thanks very much. Let's go back over to Michael.
All right, thank you, George. And also this morning, Hurricane Franklin making landfall, slamming Mexico's Gulf Coast. It is the Atlantic's first hurricane of the season, and ABC's Rob Marciano has more. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, good morning, Michael. And it's a second landfall for Franklin for the state of Mexico and the state of Veracruz. Cozumel, there's some of the video there. It came on shore as an 85-mile-an-hour storm late last night. Now it's weakening rapidly as it slams into these tall mountains over 10,000 feet, but still some back building on the east side of this. Mexico City is in the path, but they are protected by some of these mountains. Not going to be a wind event, but certainly some rain on the eastern slopes. Heavy rain, maybe some mudslides there. Greater concern closer to home. We have two tropical waves we're watching. This one has the computer models maybe bending out to sea, but the other one is just off the coast of Florida, so we'll watch that carefully. And NOAA just released an updated seasonal forecast. We'll discuss that later in the program. Paula?
All right, thanks very much, Rob. Now to new trouble for Google. The engineer fired over his memo questioning the role that women play in the world of tech. Well, he's now filing a labor complaint as a lawyer says dozens of women are gearing up to sue the company, alleging wage discrimination. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis has more.
This morning, the man behind the memo that sparked outrage doubling down on those controversial claims about gender diversity at Google, speaking out in an interview on YouTube.
I'm not saying that any of the female engineers at Google are in any way worse than the average male engineer. In fact, I'm just saying that this may explain some of the disparity in representation.
The now fired Google engineer James Damore addressing this 10-page memo he says he wrote after attending a diversity program, claiming women on average have more neuroticism and higher anxiety, lower stress tolerance than men, concluding that those differences may explain why we don't see equal representation of women in tech and leadership.
Some women are different than men in these ways.
Now, the unemployed 28-year-old says he's considering suing his former employer for illegal dismissal and filing an official complaint with the National Labor Relations Board. The CEO of YouTube, owned by Google's parent company, sharing how hard it was to explain the memo to her daughter. I thought about how tragic it was that this unfounded bias was now being exposed to a new generation. Women represent just 20% of Google's technical staff, and now more than 70 current and former female employees are preparing to fight back over alleged gender pay disparity.
Google has no comment on the possible lawsuit. They are already dealing with a government investigation into alleged pay discrimination, Google denying any pay gap. And as for Damore, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has now offered him a job. Paula.
We have not heard the last from him.
No.
Okay, Rebecca, thanks very much. We're going to get the latest now on the Taylor Swift trial. Her mother took the stand yesterday, leveled a direct accusation at the radio DJ who lost his job after Swift accused him of groping her. ABC's Clayton Sandell has the details.
This morning, fans are still lining up to see Taylor Swift.
I start at the front of the line. I don't know if I have enough for everybody.
But her mother's testimony is now making headlines. On the stand Wednesday, Andrea Swift looks straight at David Mueller, the former radio DJ accused of groping her daughter's rear end, saying he sexually assaulted her. That guy. Andrea Swift says looking at this photo obtained by TMZ of Swift and Mueller during a 2013 pre-show meet and greet, her daughter's stance and expression seem awkward. I knew something horribly wrong was going on.
Here, both sides say it's a good picture. Of course, he says it shows that I'm not lifting her skirt, for example. But she says, why would your hand be anywhere near my bottom?
Mueller insists there was never inappropriate contact. His lawyer asking, do you know where your hand was not? Mueller saying it was not on Miss Taylor Swift's rear end. He is suing Swift, claiming her allegation is false and that it cost him his career in radio. Andrea Swift says she wanted Mueller fired, but never demanded it.
For Taylor Swift's mother to get on the stand, I think in a way that seems sincere, cry and seem very hurt for her daughter, that's the sort of thing that really wakes jurors up. And in a close case, emotion matters.
Now, as for why Team Swift never went to police, Andrea Swift says she wanted to keep it private so that it didn't define her daughter's life. Now, we do still expect Taylor Swift to take the stand sometime before this trial is over. Michael.
All right, thank you. I'm sure everybody's waiting to see what she has to say about that. And we're going to turn now to good news for everyone who's playing the lottery. There was no Powerball winner overnight, which means both that jackpot and the Mega Millions pot are still...
You're still in it, Michael.
I'm still in it. I still got a chance, George. ABC Nick Watt has the details from L.A. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Michael. The combined jackpot now approaching $750 million, which has fools and dreamers like me thinking, what if I won them both? Anything is possible, but the odds on that happening, 75 quadrillion to 1. That's 15 zeros. So pretty slim. But the luckiest state is California. 27 winners since 2010, including the last Powerball and the last Mega Millions. Unluckiest states, I'm afraid we're talking Maine, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Vermont, Wyoming. But maybe they are due a bit of luck. It is possible to overthink this. All you can say is if you buy a ticket, you've got almost a zero chance. Almost a zero chance. But if you don't buy it, zero chance. No chance. Buy a ticket, maybe. Just maybe. Just maybe.
15 quadrillion. 15 zeros.
So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance. Nick talked me into it. I will be buying my tickets.
Very good advice from Nick. Don't overthink that. We do have to get quickly to Rob. You got fires burning in the Northwest.
We do, George. This one burning near Detroit, Oregon, and the Cascades in the Mount Jefferson Forest, 5,500 acre blaze there. But we have smoke coming to the Willamette Valley and the valleys of Seattle. Continued heat there. Try to clear it out this weekend. Your local forecast is 30 seconds away, but first, your Stormy Cities brought to you by CarMax.
When you buy a used car, you should feel confident. That's why CarMax has over 40,000 cars to choose from nationwide, with prices clearly marked, the same online as they are in the stores. That should give you some car buying confidence, the type of confidence you need to wear white after Labor Day, the type of confidence to suddenly switch to an English accent for no reason whatsoever. Yep, at CarMax, it's all about confidence. Nothing but net. Nailed it. Or should I say, nailed it, governor.
Well, get ready for another fabulous day like yesterday. Our temperatures are going to top out in the mid-80s. Sunshine, yes, almost a carbon copy kind of day. We're going to see an uptick of the humidity starting tomorrow. In fact, the clouds are going to move in, a chance of rain for the afternoon and especially the evening. So keep that in mind if you're going to the Montgomery County Fair. 30% chance of rain for your Saturday and Sunday with just a passing spotty shower. Still, though, lots of dry hours. We've got Monday with rain. Tuesday, we dry out.
And coming up on GMA, we have a courtroom shocker, what convinced jury members to change their minds and decide a former FBI agent and his daughter were guilty of murdering her husband.
And the new way drones like these are being used to save people from drowning, stranded in the woods, or in fires. And there's so much more. Wait till you see our live demo just ahead.
It's time to rethink what's possible. Rethink the experience.